We set up Zenises a few years ago to do business in a different way in the tire industry. Zenises is all about how you do business, and the how is determined by the why. And the why is simple. We want to build not a transactional business, but a relationship-driven business that is going to be long-term for the future of our children and focus on helping the wider community through the Zenises Foundation. So we've been doing business, and I've been going to China for over 20 years. We've had relationships with many Chinese manufacturers for more than 2 decades. Absolutely, I think that the Chinese tires have improved at a vast level. I think the quality of Chinese tires is excellent. The quality of business practices in China is really done very well. They've improved tremendously. And the level of factories that now exist in China rival, if not, are better than most of the legacy brands. The Industry 4.0 factories that we've seen, the robotics that we've seen are not bettered anywhere else in the world. Absolutely. So a lot of people refer to us as the Netflix of tires. We came to the conclusion that the tire industry needs to change, and we looked at different ways of supporting the consumer. And when we looked at it from the consumer angle, not from our angle, we figured, what does the consumer need? And the ideal thing for a consumer is to have never to worry about your tires. You pay us a flat rate of up, €2.99 a month, and we take care of all your tire needs. And it's not just, the tire needs, but it's more focused on you can use it as for 100 kilometers, for 1,000 kilometers, for 1,000,000 kilometers. You just keep driving. As long as you pay that flat rate, you will continue having tires in your car. If they're damaged or if you don't like them, you can return them, and these continue. And I think this is a new way selling tires as a service, and we're the only people in the world that do this currently. And we have worked with our partners at Saito AG to develop a software platform that allows us to do it, where you can do it via the internet. And frankly, would you rather pay €500 for a set of tires, or just pay a monthly flat rate? We also believe the new way of doing business with millennials, etc. People don't want ownership anymore. People are focused very much on getting service, and that's what we provide. And the tire industry, I think, is part of a larger debate on mobility. It's part of a car industry. It's how is the car industry going to change? How is mobility going to change? And once we recognize that, we'll recognize that it's not just about putting an internet model or putting something different like a flat rate, but it's really shifting the paradigm of saying, do we really need to go here? Will virtual reality disrupt us because we don't need to travel anymore? Will it be flying cars? Will it be autonomous cars? Well, autonomous cars are here. They're here to stay. But it's using that model and saying, well, actually, I don't need to travel anymore. And it's going to be a part of that whole debate on mobility. And it's going to be coming from outside the industry. The industry is not going to disrupt itself. We've seen that. We're a conservative, male-dominated industry. And it's going to be some child who's 14 years old or 15 years old today sitting there who's going to figure out a way, just like Airbnb did or Uber did. And one of the best things about the tire industry is that it is still a very relationship-driven industry. And while people say, oh, you can't do this, or you can't do that in China, or you can't do this in Europe, I think at the end of the day, as long as you're honest and ethical, that goes in any part of the world. Everybody can recognize that, and people do business with people who are honest and ethical.